Okay, Bob. Well, we are going to continue on, and now let's start getting into some of the meat of it here. So we understand what the formula is. We understand EBITDA. We understand multiple. We understand contribution margin. Uh, but how do we increase any of those? And let's start by talking about option one, which is simply increasing EBITDA. So in this example here, we've got a valuation of $5 million. We're trying to get that valuation to $10 million. So in order to do that by increasing the EBITDA, one way we could do that is just to double the profits, to take that profit from 1 million to 2 million. And as crazy as it sounds, that's not too far fetched. We've seen multiple companies that were able to do even more than just double their profits.
Yes, sometimes it involves thinking a little bit outside your traditional scope of how you're going to go about doing things, what your targets are. But for a company that's making $1 million profit, they're probably somewhere in the $5 to $15 million revenue range now. And we've had many clients who said, yes, we think we can double our profits. It may be a 2 or 3 or even a 4 year venture to do that, some less even. But that's not an unrealistic goal for the size companies that we're talking about and that have been our clients. In this example, if we assume an overall contribution margin of 20%, it's going to take $5 million of revenue to get there. And if you're a $5 million company, that's doubling your revenue, which is sometimes harder to do than doubling your profitability. But it's an aggressive goal, but that's one component of how to get there. Maybe you don't get it all through revenue, but maybe you get a portion of it. We like to really focus on the internal efficiencies inside the four walls of the company. What are the things that we control? Because we don't control the market, we don't control the economy, but we do control what goes on inside our company. So we look at process improvements, efficiencies, waste reductions, all of those types of things. Manufacturing, wholesalers, personal or professional service companies, technology companies, all can benefit with process improvements. Some of that's back end process, some of that's sales process, some of that's what we like to call the order to cash cycle from the time we accept an order till we have the cash in the bank. What are all the steps that it takes to get there? And how do we use automation? How do we improve our processes? How do we combine functions? And how do we focus on the most important factors? Many companies that we see want to focus on 10 factors rather than 3 factors that they can really have an impact. So how do we rank our priorities? What are the 3 we focus on, the most impactful? And let's work on those and increase our efficiency, because whereas revenue increase may drop 20% to the bottom line, efficiency increases drop 100% to the bottom line. And that's where we gain these profit improvements very quickly. Some people get scared away by cost reductions, and we've said those drop straight to the bottom line, and they do. But we're looking at how do we take the waste out of what we're doing? How do we not take so many steps to accomplish our goal? How do we make it goes right along with efficiencies? But what are the things that are wasteful in our operation that we can reduce or eliminate? And those drop right through to the bottom line as well. So it's a combination of all of these 3 major areas.
Absolutely. And so many of our clients, especially when we sit down for an initial engagement, the only way that they're thinking about it is that increase in revenue.
Right.
Because, that's generally the most obvious. But, I'd say that we spend the majority of our time, as you said, looking at those internal efficiencies increases, looking at process improvement opportunities, and those type of things. We come in and we help them get that on track, but it's not a one and done exercise. When you talk about efficiency and process improvement, this is a continual exercise that has to become part of their standard business practices.
Absolutely. And what we want to do is identify those things that will be most impactful quickly, help them get started, get some wins, teach them how to make process improvements so that when we leave, they're able to, as you said, continuously do that, because that's something that never stops. The world is changing. their markets will change, their customers will change, their supply chain changes over time. So how do you continually look for efficiency improvements? It just becomes a way of doing business. How do we efficiently run our business every day in the future? And people get scared about cost reduction because they think it means employee reduction. It doesn't mean that at all. It's just waste reduction, because we want to keep our employees and let them have more work, grow the company, them to make more money, them to be more engaged in the community along with the business. So everyone, the business owner, the employees, and the community all win in this kind of transition. And that's what we want.
Well, these are all one side of, or one variable to the equation when we talk about increasing EBITDA. Of course, the next thing we're going to talk about, Bob, when we come back is the multiple and things we can do to improve that multiple and improve the valuation of the company and the appeal to an outside investor or a third party on that side.
Yes, absolutely.